What's up, everybody? Pastel Jutsu here, and One Piece is on break this week as of me filming this video. We're between chapters 1007 and 1008 right now. So you'd think I'd be making a video about, Oden maybe, or maybe, something regarding like Momonosuke's Devil Fruit or something like that, or maybe like Chopper. No, actually, I just kind of felt like doing some little, unexpected, this is a video about this guy right here, Blackleg Sanji, Vinsmoke. Yeah, so I just got hit by the urge to make this video, because I was just randomly thinking about Sanji's abilities, specifically, one that doesn't really get touched on a lot. He hasn't really done it in a long time. But he is a self-taught master of a Rokushiki technique. The technique used by the assassins in Cypherpole. He taught himself Geppo, which he dubs, in his own style, Skywalk. And he's taught himself this technique. Like, he wasn't trained from childhood to learn Rokushiki like the other Cypherpole members. So I was thinking, if he has the potential to master one Rokushiki technique, how many others does he have the potential to master? So I just thought I would do a little thought experiment on what it might be like if Sanji did attain the other Rokushiki techniques and like teach himself the others, not just one. So let's just go through all the techniques in Rokushiki and see how they might apply to Mr. Blackleg Sanji. So we have Geppo, of course. We have Skywalk, or otherwise called Blue Walk, which is when he uses it underwater. We haven't seen him do it that much, but he definitely can do that. And so that's Geppo, so we can scratch that off the list. But another technique that I think would be come really naturally to Sanji is Soru, or Shave, the speed technique of the Cypher Pole. Because we know Sanji is a really fast guy. Like I think he's like he might be the second or third fastest Straw Hat. I think according to Oda, Brook is the fastest, which I love that. But Sanji, I think he might. I don't know if he was second or third, but either him or Luffy is the second fastest. But yeah, Sanji is definitely one of the faster members of the Straw Hats and one of the faster One Piece characters, I think. So a lot of people think he might actually fight Kizaru one day, because he's very good at moving. He's a very quick dude. So I think Soru would come really easy to him. But since he didn't call his Geppo, he called it Skywalk. What would he call Soru? And so I was thinking, since he's a chef, I was thinking the best name for Soru would probably be Speedy Delivery. Because, like when you're delivering food, like you're delivering pizza or something, you want to go really fast. And so I think it would be funny if Sanji called his Soru Speedy Delivery, like increase his speed. And by the way, I'm not a chef at all. I'm very pedestrian with my culinary knowledge, so I tried to have like a chef theme with these names, but it's gonna be very basic. So like Speedy Delivery. So yeah, I thought that would be cool for Sanji's Soru to be called Speedy Delivery. So it makes him move really fast. We've seen him move really fast plenty of times in the series. So I think that would be a really natural fit. Moving on to another one that I think would come pretty naturally to Sanji's, because it's pretty much arm and hockey, and that's Tekai, or Iron Body. Most people will probably just say, well, that would just be Sanji's, arm and hockey, basically. And yeah, I guess you could say that, but maybe and also Sanji's genetics. It didn't really come to fruition like it did with his siblings, but he was intended to have like a natural exoskeleton. Like his skin was already supposed to be like iron body, like naturally. And so maybe he could like kind of unlock that a little bit, maybe, or it could just be his arm and hockey. But that would be his Tekai. But what would he call it? I thought it'd be really cool if he called it cast iron, like a cast iron like skillet or cast iron pot or whatever. Because Tech Eye is called Iron Body, so I was thinking Iron Body, cast iron. That would be really cool. Actually, I think that would be awesome if you called it that. And plus, his raid suit gives him more durability too, so he probably doesn't really need a Tech Eye. But for the sake of being a Rokushiki master, I think he could master Tech Eye too. But moving on to another one, Kamiye, I think it's called was it paper? Like I think it's just paper. I want to say paper doll, but it's the technique that makes you like really bendy and kind of it helps you avoid attacks. It's like it makes you move really weird, like you're doing the wave. And again, you might say, well, that would just be Sanji's observation hockey that would help him evade attacks. And we know he's he's naturally good at observation hockey. But we've also seen Sanji move like that before, like kind of like wavy mostly when he has like the hearts in his eyes, when he's like in horny mode. He's like, oh, Rami Chua. We've seen him move like this before. So that's another technique I think would be really natural for Sanji. Just combine that with his observation hockey. I think he'd be really good at that. Like I said, he's a really good mover. He's got really good reflexes too. So yeah, I think he'd be really good at that. But what would he call it? Well, I thought maybe, it wouldn't be Sanji if he didn't call it Wet Noodle. I think Wet Noodle works on many levels for Sanji's spin on the Kamiye technique. And, I think it's pretty obvious why, it's because he's a chef. There's no other reason. There's nothing else that comes to mind when you think of like a wet noodle. But anyway, Sanji, a horny guy like Sanji, that has nothing to do with, his noodle's not wet. I'm just saying. Okay, never mind. Also, there's the parallels between Wet Noodle and Sanji's greatest opponent, Wanze. Maybe that would have been cool. Maybe if after fighting Wanze, that gave Sanji the idea, because that was the arc where they were fighting against the Rokushiki members. So that'd be cool if maybe that was the first technique that he awakened. Was like from after fighting Wanze and after seeing the Kamiye, that would be his inspiration to whip out his wet noodle. But anyway, okay, I'm moving on to the next one. Next, we have what I really think Sanji should already have already. And I don't know if any other Sanji fans have thought of this, but this would be such an obvious. This should be such an obvious thing for Sanji to have. This should have been the first Rokushiki technique he unlocked, even before Geppo. It's Renkyaku, and obviously the kick-based attack technique of the cipher pole. Obviously this would be a perfect match for Sanji, and I don't know why Oda hasn't given him this already. Renkyaku is actually my favorite Rokushiki technique. I just think it's so cool, seeing whenever whenever Lucci, Kaku, or Jabura used. All three of them were really good at Renkyaku. They all used it in really cool, creative ways. Renkyaku is just my favorite Rokushiki technique. And so in the anime, the color of Renkyaku is blue. The first thing that came to mind for what Sanji would call it is blue kick, because it's kind of like blue walk. But then I thought an even better name for Sanji, who's like a great chef, would be carving knife. I thought that would be a perfect name. That seemed like the obvious thing that he would name Renkyaku, because it's like a cutting technique. And so this would unlock so much potential for Sanji, because he's more of a short range fighter. And so this would give him long range attacks, because it's like flying kick blades, and this would kind of be a nice counter to Zoro, because because it's like a blade attack. So him and Zoro could both have these like flying blade cutting attacks. So like that'd be really cool to see them both have that. Even though Sanji doesn't have a sword, he's not a swordsman, but he does have knifemanship, I guess, or like good swordsmanship with the kitchen knife, which again plays into the carving knife aesthetic of his Renkyaku. So yeah, but I guess when he's underwater and he uses that technique, then it would be called blue kick. Going back to the blue walk. So you could have both. But yeah, I really, if nothing else, I really think Sanji. Like I could actually see Sanji unlocking Renkyaku by the end of the series. Like it seems like such a natural thing. Like that Oda should definitely give Sanji Renkyaku, if nothing else. Like if he doesn't unlock the rest, that's fine. But he should. Come on, Oda, you should give Sanji Renkyaku. All of us Sanji fans would love that. But yeah. So, but moving on to the final technique in the Rokushiki lineup, you may see where I'm going with this, but Sanji might have a bit of a problem doing Shigan, which is the finger bullet or finger pistol, because Sanji has sworn never to use his hands in battle because he's a chef and he can't injure his hands. So I was thinking, well, okay, that's the one technique Sanji really can't master. Until I got struck with an epiphany. He could still use Shigan, but would it be with his fingers? Sanji's all about kicking, and human beings don't just have fingers, they also have toes. And so, imagine Sanji kicking off his shoes and using his toes to basically shoot someone like a bullet. So, I just thought that would be the ultimate brilliance that Oda could bring to Sanji's character. Like, that would be the apex of One Piece right there. Just pack it all in. That is the treasure at the end of the journey. Sanji using his toes to use Shigan. If he used that, he would be the deadliest fighter on the seas. So yeah, when I came to that realization, I was like, alright, so what is he going to call it though? And I was thinking, food related, beans look like toes and vice versa. And so I thought that would be a really good name for it. But not just beans. Sanji also has another aesthetic in the naming of his attacks, which is French. All of his attacks basically are in French. Not all of them, but most of them. And so I looked up how to say bean in French. And apparently bean in French is...
haricot.
Yeah, haricot. So I think that would be the perfect name for Sanji's Shigan variation with his toes. I could totally see that happening. Probably won't, but it would be great if it did. And so yeah, with that, Sanji will have mastered all 6 Rokushiki techniques, which means he can unlock the secret 7th technique, Kogan. But again, he couldn't really do it with his hands. He would have to, innovate his own style of Rokugan. But I think that would be much more believable than the Toe Shigan thing. But I think he would definitely be able to do like a flying double kick Rokugan. Like basically jump at the enemy and just kick them in the chest with both of his feet, and then like creates the shockwave. Like that would be fucking awesome. So I would love to see that. But also, when you combine the other aspect to Sanji's fighting style, Sanji has a lot of different aspects to him, which is why people love him so much. There's also the Diablo Jambe, And so when you factor in the Diablo Jambe, like igniting his feet or his legs, and you combine that with like the Renkyaku or the Rokuogan, like I think a Diablo Jambe Rokuogan would be the pinnacle of Sanji's battle potential. Like that would be the strongest technique Sanji could possibly do. Will he ever unlock that? I doubt it. But it would be really cool if Sanji turned invisible with his raid suit and just like use Geppo and Sodu to basically fly at like Mach 20, or fucking speed of sound toward an enemy and just hit them with the Diablo Jambe Rokuogan. That would eviscerate anybody. Like that would take down fucking like Blackbeard, Kizaru, anybody. Akainu, like you're not fucking with that technique. Especially if he puts like arm and hockey behind it. So yeah, whew, that kind of got me going here. Thinking about Sanji's potential if he mastered all of Rokushiki would be immensely awesome. I doubt Oda's gonna give us that. Sanji already has a lot to offer with his raid suit and his hockey and his black leg technique and Diablo Jambe. So there's a lot of potential there already, but I just think that would be the pinnacle of Sanji's potential if he unlocked all of Rokushiki. But we'll see. Maybe he should at least have Renkyaku though. I really do think that. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this little video. A little something different, not a live reaction, but I just had to make this video. I just thought it was a cool idea. But yeah, so like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It's Power Style Jutsu kicking out carving knife.